So to better understand the government, how the government works, we try to look at the legislative branch, the Congress. So for example, here's a government Congress vote record. It is really hard to read, it's tiny text, right? So we turn that into a nice chart. And you can easily see who did what. And similarly, we try to visualize how a bill was introduced and then put into committee, being discussed on, maybe there's a hearing or something, and then maybe they are passed or they're just not handled in the Congress. And here's a way to see how each bill, how many bills of them are in what stage, and things like that. Also, when a bill was proposed, it is about to change the law, right? So, but the actual text for changing law is really hard to read in government data as well. So we also turn that into something we call a diff. So a diff is a way that programmers are very familiar with because they need to know what time, what change was made by whom at what time. So we kind of reuse this idea and then apply it to the bill being proposed. So in the amendment, you can see that this is a bill introduced lately in Taiwan that's about allowing same-sex marriage. And when we have that, and we give every bill a single URL that people can share, so it's easily, people can share it easily and then discuss on it rather than arguing it without like a common basis. And in the Taiwan Congress, we have live video feed, but it's only available for Windows IE. How many of you are using IE? It's horrible, right? So we kind of turn that into like a mobile-friendly or modern browser-friendly UI. But to make it more interesting, we allow people to throw things to the legislator or the government officials that are talking things you don't like. And but we'll also do some more constructive things like showing the waveform of the whole day length of the government, the Congress video. But this is not really a good example of open data because the Congress data is not open. We have to download the PDF and turn that back into raw data and then present it in the previous forms you see, the beautiful ones. So it's kind of a crawling process. But a better example is that a couple of months ago, the Taiwanese Environment Agency released open data for air qualities. And then I was able to turn this PM 2.5 information into this beautiful map within 30 minutes. And being able to put it in 30 minutes is not just because the Environment Agency has it in open data, but it's also because we've done this before. So last year in the typhoon season, we were not happy with the official rain chart on the left because it's updated only like hourly. And you know, during typhoon, it's very sensitive. We kind of want to know how much rain was spitting like in nearly real time. So the rain sensors are actually updated every 10 minutes. So we download the data and then draw something very ugly on the right. And then, but the important thing is that we publish the data and make it available for anyone to use. And then soon after, people turn that into something really, really beautiful. And then this person also released that as an open source toolkit. So we can reuse that and put it together with the environment data and then put a nice PM 2.5 map within 30 minutes. So this is where we are, the GOV.TW project. It's like a movement and it's very young, about a year. We have lots of hackathons and lots of contributors. So the way we work is like we try to encourage people to use the open source model to collaborate, even if they are not software developers. So when people have an idea, we encourage them to write it down. Because if you're just talking about it, people cannot help the idea and perfect it. And better yet, we encourage people to draw something of their imagination. Here's an imaginary Congress site being drawn a couple months ago. And when you have something in drawing, people can turn it into actual kind of fake website with fake data, but it's like an almost working website. And later on, people can put real data in it. So it's like like an open source project developing and then asynchronously. So it also goes the same for design process. And on the left, you can see the first revision of our logo. It's really ugly. And then some designers start saying, oh, this is too ugly. I have to make it better. So here's a tip for people to contribute to your project or community. Make typos in document and make really ugly logos. And this is important because you attract people to contribute. They are now part of the community. And their names are listed in the contributors. So they don't want to see this project to fail. So we've had like about 30 projects so far, and then very diverse, and then all of them open source. The important idea for this to work is that it is a similar idea how the internet was built today. We roughly know that there's an idea somewhere we want to reach, there's a place we want to reach, but we don't know exactly. We kind of had a rough consensus of we want an more open government, but more importantly, we have running code. We have working prototypes for people to participate, for people to improve. And this is how the internet was built today. There's no grand plan of we have to have browsers, mobile devices. Things just happen along the way. So in summary, GOV.0 is pushing toward open government with open data, or if the data is not open, we try to liberate it and talk to the data owner nicely about opening up. And this is run as an open source community. So what's next? In 2008, when Iceland was badly struck by the financial crisis, people were raged. And then these people demand a new constitution. And the prime minister accepted that, okay, we need a new constitution, and the new constitution should be drafted by the people. So they have a national assembly of 1,000 randomly selected people to decide how a constitution should be drafted. And there was a national election of 25 committee members. They are responsible for collecting public opinions from public and from the internet. So at the end, they draft a version of constitution that was approved by a referendum in 2012. And once this new constitution is ratified by the Icelandic parliament, it will be the first constitution drafted by the crowd and on the internet. Similar things are happening in Finland, where they have a new off-road traffic regulation, and they're collecting opinions before they make the law from people. So they collected about hundreds of submissions of proposals and then thousands of comments. And so things are happening this way. So we can see that the technology is not just allowing us to socially sponsor interesting project on Kickstarter or renting out your spare room on Airbnb. It's also changing how policies are made. So we should take this back to your country, try to open up your government, and because compared to the example previously, in Asia, democracy is rather young. So we need to work together, and that's why we started GOV.0.Asia. Hopefully we can have an open government community across the Asia to work together. So this afternoon we will have an exchange session, and you're welcome to post comments, ideas on this URL, GOV.0.Asia/MaD. Thank you for your listening.